what on earth have we just witnessed? The Melbourne Demons trailed by 44 points in the third term. They have won by 4 points to claim their first minor premiership since 1964, their last premiership win. Jordan Lewis, what is going on in your mind right now?
I don't know. I just love the interview after the game, to be quite honest. And there was two questions in particular that I think Abby asked. One, what were you thinking, Max Gawn, when you were lining up for a set shot? He goes, I just wanted the ball to hit my foot. And then when the boys were trying to hurry up, he goes, let me alone. I'm just trying to live my moment. I kicked the winner. So what an amazing comeback. And we'll talk a little bit more about how it happened. But we'll have a listen into the song. And what was a game that we thought they were down and out at half-time?
They
came back and won.
40.
Maxi Gawn was jumping up like a kid on Christmas morning just then. This is going to be loud, isn't it? Oh, they've got to put the mask on first, of course.
Yes, this round has been out of control. How good.
What a ridiculous day of football. We're going to wrap it all up on Saturday stretch, but for now, enjoy this, Melbourne fans. Your first minor premiership since 1964. Well, you knew it was going to be rowdy when Choco Williams started in the middle. What scenes in the Demons change rooms? If you're just tuning in, they were trailing by 44 points against Geelong in Geelong, and they have won by 4 points to claim the minor premiership, their first since 1964. I mean, it's hard. I'm still pinching myself. It's hard to believe what we've just seen.
It's unbelievable. So impressive, the Melbourne Footy Club all year. They deserve to sit on top of the AFL table at the end of the home and away season. And, oh, look, even...
Some of them look in disbelief.
But I just love the emotion of the game. And, you know, we've been riding it all day. We really have, with what the Brisbane Lions were doing and the percentage and where that's at for the Bulldogs. And then seeing Geordie then and, you know, not being able to watch Max Gawn kick that final goal to secure victory tonight.
What were you thinking?
That's what footy's about, isn't it? That's exactly those pure emotions where we're all sitting there going, what is happening here?
I had faith in him. I did.
I've got video.
I did. But I suppose the narrative around the Melbourne Football Club for a long period of time, when their character has been tested, they haven't quite stood up in the big moments in terms of the football in life of the Melbourne Football Club in recent times. And even at the start of the year, when they had a few wins on the trot, then they would get tested, people would start to question them. I mean, that was the biggest question tonight, coming up against a side in Geelong who were totally dominant for a period of that first half. To come back, recess at half-time, work on a few things and come out and perform the way they did on the road against a top side like Geelong in the second half was quite extraordinary.
Well, let's relive the fourth quarter. So Melbourne trailed by 32 points at three-quarter time. They kicked 6 goals in the last quarter to Geelong's 2 behinds.
Clayton Oliver, there he is on screen.
He was huge.
He was huge all night. Actually, the only time Geelong looked likely in the game when they had that burst, he didn't touch the footy. Other than that, he was on fire throughout this last quarter as well. But they got their run of connection going. It was quite surprising, actually, how they were able to really break through the catch from D50 to score, Geordie.
Yeah, it was speed of ball movement. What was missing in the first half, they just couldn't get their ball movement going. They couldn't access the open side to allow that overlap run in the first half, and that is exactly what happened after half-time. They were more braver with the ball. They got their stoppage connection going, that forward momentum. How this was out of bounds deliberately has still got me scratching my head. There were some bizarre decisions tonight, Kat. There really was.
Polite way of putting it.
And they were lucky that the kick went out on the full, and then there was a 50-metre, crucial 50-metre penalty paid. But I mean, that decision, if the game doesn't end up being a Melbourne win, that decision was just...
Because Melbourne actually want to keep the ball alive in that situation.
Exactly.
So, anyway,
no feel for the game. But
then Close whacks it over the fence, which ball was clearly out of bounds on the full. So that was the right call in terms of a 50-metre penalty. And then I'm thinking Lever's got to take the 30 and he's the one having the shot after the siren. But you called it, Geordie. You said, no, he's going to have to put this short. He mightn't make the distance.
Yeah, it was beyond his distance. So you can just see. So you look there forward the ball. We know who marks it now, Max Gawn. So you just watch him. There's just no body contact on him. So you've got multiple Geelong players there. You've got Stanley protecting the line, thinking he's going long. No one took responsibility of Max Gawn. So you look at those crucial plays in the last dying minutes, he was the man that was going to mark the ball. You'd need to be closer checking than that.
I love the way Max played that last quarter. He was back in defence helping out, intercept marks there, but he spent probably the last 10 minutes or so forward of centre, having impact as Melbourne were transitioning, not just sitting back trying to save the game defensively. This guy here, as the skipper, really controlled the last quarter also in terms of his positioning and impact in the game.
He's been in his position 4, Kath, against Geelong and just missed it. Duck hooked it to the left.
I think Geordie opened his right eye about now just to see he hit it pure.
Never in doubt, hey?
Look at that. They're great scenes, they really are.
They are.
What a day we've had in football, to be perfectly honest.
Extraordinary day. See your All-Australian captain, Max Gawn?
Oh, it's a really good question.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I mean, you can't fault his season.
No, he's been
great.
huge. The top of the table, captain of the footy side in the Melbourne Demons. There'll be a few more All-Australians in there, so he's a big chance.
Well, he said in his post-game interview when they were trying to wrap him up, the boys watching on, he said, no, this is my moment. So I think we need to celebrate the moment. And this is
character.
the scenes on the bench as well. I mean, Jono, we're obviously not Melbourne Demons fans like Geordie, but you can't help but get wrapped up in these emotions.
Oh, look, when a side has delivered all year long, and look, the Cats have got it right as well throughout this season, and that's what makes this round so good so far. You have the top 4 teams playing each other, the emotional ride that goes with these games, the other games that are shaping the 8 at the present time as well. That is what has made this a roller coaster of a round for all supporters across the competition.
And don't forget that 10-minute period from Geelong as well, how damaging they were in that 10-minute period. So that'll get overshadowed because they gave up a big deficit and Melbourne were able to come back. Great win by Melbourne, but that 10-minute period from Geelong should scare some sides as well.
But what sort of a mental edge is this going to give the
But
Melbourne
you just look
now?
there. You look there just first, Kath, in terms of Geelong now. What's happened there in that last quarter has saved Melbourne travelling to the Adelaide Oval to play Port Adelaide in front of a home crowd. Yeah. So that is big.
You talk about the mental edge, no deficit that Melbourne get to now. Because it's a recent experience, you can always draw on those experiences. So no deficit. If they come up against Brisbane, they're down by 5-6 goals at half-time, doesn't matter. Confidence is high.
So you wonder where Melbourne would like to play then, given they have to choose.
Well, do we know the
neutral
options?
ground. So Adelaide Oval.
Yep.
The Gabba, probably,
Metricon?
and Hobart.
Metricon? Would Metricon be an option?
We'll have to check with Tom Morris on that one.
I mean, if I'm
Where do you
Melbourne, I think I'd like to play in Adelaide. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Why?
Well, one, make them travel. 2, I'd rather play at Adelaide Oval than at Hobart. I think it's a pure football ground. And it's a great atmosphere. It's a football-loving state.
Is Perth an option for the first week of the finals? It's a good question.
Sorry?
Is Perth an option?
I don't think so.
What I'm
because
thinking, you make Perth, Brisbane go the...
No, I don't think so because of quarantine.
OK, so therefore, yeah, I like your Adelaide scenario then.
Yeah, well, if Gary Port gets his way, well, he won't get an empty MCG.
Let's head into the newsroom now and bring in Tom Morris for the final time this season. Tom, a big win for the Melbourne Demons tonight.
Yeah, huge win, not in terms of points, but in terms of the significance of this game. As I said before, they'll be playing in Adelaide next week. Adelaide versus the Brisbane Lions on Saturday night. That's the way it looks at this stage anyway. But you mentioned before, Kath, that Melbourne last won the premiership in 1964. They last won the minor premiership in 1964. As Sam Landsberger, our colleague from the Herald Sun, noted tonight, that was also the year that Tokyo last hosted the Olympics. An omen? We're not sure.
Good stat.
On that note, let's have a listen to Simon Goodwin after the game.
Yeah, it was a hell of a game. It was... just the character of the group to be able to come back. We knew the opposition we were playing, the quality of them. And we did a few things wrong early in the game. But, yeah, just an unbelievable effort by our boys. I think our supporters sitting at home should be really proud of their group. Obviously it's a tough time for our supporters and the whole of Melbourne, but hopefully we brought a bit of joy to their faces tonight.
What did you think when Max was lining up for goal? Did you think he'd kick it?
He's had that opportunity against the Cats before, so I was pretty confident. He's spent a lot of time on his goal kicking, and he's our skipper, and he recognises the moment, and it was an important kick for us, and he nailed it. So, it's just a quality performance. That's the thing that I love the most, that we were ultimately challenged in one of the biggest ways. You know, we had 8 goals kicked against us in a quarter, which I think that's probably the first time that's happened this year. And, you know, for the guys to be able to regather themselves at half-time, understand what the game needed and to change and implement the change required was outstanding. And, you know, last quarter, you know, we stemmed the flow in the third quarter, and in the last quarter we just got some genuine momentum, mainly from stoppage and clearance, which we were able to capitalise on.
So that's Simon Goodwin, the Melbourne coach. They're off to Adelaide next week, as I mentioned before. Jordan, I'll go to you. You've seen a lot of footy this year. Give us your 3-2-1 for the Brownlow. Who finishes third, who finishes second, and who wins it?
I think Wine's third. My issue with him would be Boak. I think Bontempelli finishes second. My issue with him, though, would be McRae. And I think Oliver takes out the Brownlow in 2021. The issue would be Petrarca, taking votes off them.
And Maxi?
And potentially Gawn. So that's why I think it may be more open than we think, with the vote stealing from teammates who have also had good years.